welcome to the deep dive. So, you're probably asking yourself, maybe you've thought about it, in a world where AI seems to know, well, pretty much everything, what's the actual value of getting a university degree these days?
Right.
Is it still worth it? Or is it, becoming just an expensive piece of paper?
That's exactly the question we've been digging into. We looked at these excerpts from El valor de un título en la era de la inteligencia artificial, and honestly, what we found really shifts the whole perspective.
Okay.
So our mission, really, for this deep dive is to unpack how formal education is, well, it's changing, and what a degree actually signifies now with AI in the picture. It's maybe not what you think.
Yeah, because when we first started looking at this, my first thought was, okay, AI can write essays, it can solve super complex problems. So what's left for us to actually learn? But the core idea that really jumped out, the big thing, is that a degree today isn't just a certificate saying you memorize stuff. Not anymore. It's becoming more like a validation, proof of your ability to think critically, maybe to innovate, and definitely to collaborate effectively, within this whole tech ecosystem we're in.
Exactly. It's less about the facts you hold right now, and much, much more about your potential, what you can do with information.
Okay, so the whole point of getting a degree has shifted that.
Completely redefined, yeah. It's not about just downloading information, like filling a container.
Right.
It's really about developing the capacity to learn throughout your life, to think critically, and crucially, to apply that knowledge in messy, complex, real-world situations. The goal now is to shape individuals who don't just passively receive information, which AI can spit out instantly, right?
Easily.
But who analyze it, who question it, challenge its basis, and then use it strategically. Use it to create actual value, solve problems that AI just can't tackle on its own.
So it sounds like universities are moving away from just being factories and more towards cultivating, a certain kind of human capability, a specific way of thinking and problem solving.
That's a good way to put it. And there are specific goals higher ed is aiming for in this new paradigm.
Like what? What are they focusing on?
Well, a huge one is fostering critical thinking, really doubling down on that.
Okay.
Which means going beyond just understanding information. It's about actively evaluating it, spotting the biases, asking the right kinds of questions, the deep questions.
Which is so important now, right? With AI generating so much stuff, some of it, questionable.
Absolutely essential. You need that human filter, that discernment. You can't just blindly trust the output.
Okay, so critical thinking is key. What else?
Another major focus is driving creativity and innovation.
Oh. Okay.
Universities are really trying to empower people to generate genuinely original ideas, disruptive solutions, things AI, at least for now, can't just replicate on command.
So thinking beyond the algorithms.
Exactly. Connecting dots in new ways, pushing boundaries.
It almost sounds like they're trying to teach us how to be uniquely human in a way, to complement the AI.
In a sense, yes, because AI handles the data, the computation.
Right.
But we navigate the human stuff, the messy bits. And that leads to the next point, those soft skills.
Yes. Always important, but maybe even more so now.
Definitely more so. The source really emphasizes emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Understanding your own feelings, reading others, managing relationships. That's vital for leadership, for teamwork.
You can't automate empathy.
Not yet, anyway. And then there's effective communication, collaborating well in a team, and leadership. These interpersonal skills are what make projects succeed, what drives things forward in a human context.
And given how fast everything changes, technology, the job market, learning can't just stop at graduation, can it?
Absolutely not. That's another goal. Promoting continuous learning.
So like teaching you how to learn.
Pretty much. Instilling the discipline, giving you the tools you need to keep acquiring knowledge and skills for your entire career. Because, let's be honest, what you learn freshman year might be outdated by the time you're a senior, let alone 5 years out.
That's a bit scary, but true.
It is. And the final piece here is that the degree acts as a validation of your application capacity.
Meaning
it certifies that you don't just know something in theory,
right,
but you can actually apply it. Apply that knowledge to solve real, practical, often complex problems. It's the difference between knowing physics and actually building a working bridge.
Okay, that makes sense. Knowing versus doing. That's a really crucial distinction.
It is.
So AI gives us incredible access to information. Ask it anything, boom, there's an answer, or at least an answer.
Right, a flood of it.
But the source makes this really clear point. True knowledge isn't just that raw data dump. It comes from human experience, from analysis, reflection. How does the university environment actually help build that?
Well, that's where the unique value proposition still lies, you could say. The university structure isn't just about lectures anymore, or it shouldn't be.
Okay.
It's about exposing you to rigorous research methods, getting you involved in, say, group discussions where you have to defend your ideas, listen to others, and working on practical projects, things that force you to grapple with complexity, with ambiguity.
So it's the process, not just the content.
Exactly. Through that process, you learn to synthesize information, pulling ideas together from different fields to get a bigger picture.
Right, connecting the dots.
You learn to discern quality, how to tell good information from bad, reliable sources from misinformation. A survival skill today, really.
Definitely.
And maybe most importantly, you learn to generate actual insights, to go beyond the data points AI might provide and find the patterns, the trends, the meaning underneath.
That makes sense. It's those fundamentally human skills, then, that are the real differentiators, things AI can't easily replicate.
Precisely. Like we touched on, emotional intelligence. That's huge.
Yeah.
Then there's creativity, thinking outside the box in a way algorithms aren't designed to. And something we haven't stressed enough, maybe. Ethics and judgment.
Oh, that's a big one.
Huge, especially in fields like medicine, law, tech development. AI can present options, but the moral and ethical decision-making, that has to be human. You can't just outsource your conscience to code.
No, definitely not.
And one more thing the university experience helps build: resilience, adaptability.
How so?
Just by navigating the academic challenges, the social dynamics, maybe failing an exam, figuring out a tough group project. It prepares you, it builds grit, helps you learn how to adapt to change and overcome setbacks later in life and work.
Right, learning to bounce back.
Exactly.
So putting this all together, what does it mean for the degree itself? It sounds less like an endpoint now.
That's a perfect way to frame it. The source argues really strongly that a degree today isn't the finish line. It's a launch pad.
A launch pad. Interesting.
Yeah, it's not the end of your education. It's really just the beginning. It's a validation, a signal that you have the capacity to learn effectively and apply knowledge.
So it gives you a foundation.
A foundation, yes, and that initial credibility. It opens doors to opportunities where you can then continue developing your skills. And now, you'll likely be doing that with AI as a kind of co-pilot.
Okay.
Companies increasingly seem to be looking for that potential to grow and adapt using these new tools, not just a list of things you already know how to do.
So they're betting on your ability to learn with the degree as evidence that you can learn.
Pretty much. Evidence that you have the foundational skills, the critical thinking, the discipline to leverage tools like AI effectively.
That's quite a shift from the traditional view. But if companies are looking for potential, how does the degree signal that beyond just pass the course? And what about the universities? This must mean they face some pretty big challenges to stay relevant, right?
Oh, absolutely. Huge challenges. One of the biggest is just figuring out how to integrate AI into the curriculum meaningfully. Universities have to teach students how to use AI as a powerful tool. Not see it as cheating or as a replacement for thinking,
Right.
but as something that can augment their own abilities. How to use it for research, for analysis, for efficiency, freeing them up for higher level tasks.
So it's about working with AI, not against it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Collaboration, not competition. And tied to that is the need to put even more emphasis on those soft skills we talked about.
Creativity, communication, ethics.
Precisely. Curricula need redesigning to give more weight to those areas, shifting the focus from just knowledge acquisition to developing that unique human value you bring alongside the AI.
Okay, makes sense. What else?
Continuous education is another massive one. Institutions can't just, graduate students and wave goodbye.
Yeah.
They need to offer robust programs for lifelong learning, upskilling, reskilling, so graduates can actually stay relevant throughout a much longer, more dynamic career. The idea of the degree as a one-and-done thing is just gone.
The degree for life, not just for the first job.
You got it. And the last big challenge, maybe the trickiest, redefining evaluation, assessment.
How do you grade someone when they can ask an AI to write their essay?
Right. It means moving way beyond memorization tests. Assessments need to focus on practical application, on creativity, on the process of critical thinking.
So judging how they use the tools.
Exactly. Can they prompt effectively? Can they critically evaluate the AI's output? Can they synthesize it, add their own unique insights, apply it ethically? It's about assessing their judgment, their critical engagement with the technology, not just the final product, which might have been AI assisted.
So if we pull back and look at the big picture here, AI isn't necessarily the enemy of the university degree.
Not at all. It's more like a catalyst.
A catalyst. Okay.
Yeah.
How so?
It's forcing a redefinition of the degree's purpose. It's stripping away the value from just knowing stuff, because AI can do that. So the value shifts. A degree now certifies something different. It certifies that you have the discipline, the analytical skills, the adaptability, and those crucial human skills, creativity, collaboration, ethics, to actually thrive in a world drowning in information.
So AI handles the routine, the data processing, freeing you up to focus on the stuff that really moves the needle. Innovation, strategy, complex problem solving, ethical leadership.
Exactly. AI becomes the tool. You become the strategist, the innovator, the ethical guide.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It reframes the whole thing.
It does. So maybe the final thought to leave everyone with.
Yeah.
If a degree is now fundamentally about validating your capacity for lifelong learning and adaptation, what does that imply about the university's own responsibility?
You mean?
Doesn't the university itself need to continuously adapt? Doesn't it need to embrace the very changes, the very tools like AI that it's asking its students to master? The challenge isn't just for the students, it's deeply for the institutions themselves to practice what they preach.
That's a really provocative point. Are universities themselves set up for that kind of constant evolution? Something to think about.